All right, tonight is the gift of calm. This is the fourth in our series of the gifts of resilience. And I used the word gifts on purpose because it was the holiday season. And so I'm going to share my screen here tonight because it's more interactive. We're doing more back and forth of the sharing, you'll see. There we go. Okay, so I think you're seeing that now. And I'll move me over so I can see me a little better. So these are the gifts of resilience. This is the series that we began in November, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. All of these recordings will be posted on the AARP Florida virtual library on their YouTube channel. If you don't have that address, we will send it out to you. Michelle, when she sends the emails or for registration, it's always included there. Please give them a few weeks, especially because of the holidays and the year end. These these resilience series probably won't get posted until January. Second or third week of January easily. But know that they are there and they're open for everybody. You don't have to be an AARP Florida member. You don't have to be an AARP member. So if this is something that has brought you value or that you've enjoyed and want to share it, please send that link to the virtual library to friends and family and neighbors that you know. Okay, today is the gift of calm. When I was preparing this series, this seminar, and this idea, the presentation for AARP Florida, I knew that often in the thick of the holidays, right, as we get closer to, did the Christmas cards go out if you're going to do them this year? Did you send packages in time so that the post office or UPS can get it there in time? As we get closer, right, to the big week, even if we're celebrating Hanukkah the week prior, as we get closer to society's big week of the holidays and offices and government agencies shutting down and everybody taking a few days to hibernate, there isn't often very much calm. In fact, even the songs talk about it, right? It's all the hustle and bustle. It's all the busyness. It's the, oh my gosh, the hurry, hurry. And that can add some stress. That can ramp up our sensations and our feelings, our emotions. And right now, this year's different. So it comes down to this year, we might not be looking forward to this week or next week of family time or togetherness or fellowship up close with friends and coworkers because we don't have that right now because we're still being responsible and safe and caring for one another from a distance. And so being calm, I think, is even more important. So what is calm? Calm can mean lots of things to lots of people. I defined it as this. You'll see this on the screen, but I'm going to read it because sometimes it doesn't come across if you're looking at your device on a small tablet or phone. Calm, I'm calling calm as the peace of mind, a sense of steadiness, the mental resource that helps us stay in our zone to handle stress or to recover from an emotional event or situation. So to me, that is calm. If you have another definition or explanation of calm that you would like to share, please put that in the chat box now so that we can see it. There may be an experience or a counseling therapist session that defined calm for you in a different way that might be the beautiful words that make sense to somebody else. That's what's lovely about communicating and sharing ideas. We can say the same thing but say it differently or have a different approach or perspective, intention to it. And all of a sudden, it really makes sense to somebody where they just didn't get it before. They didn't really understand what you meant. And so I always, always welcome your engagement, your interpretation, your choices. Okay, if we have these gifts, well, what's it wrapped in? What does calm come in? Sometimes the essence, right? What we have to unwrap to get to calm is fear, operating in fear. Right now, there's a lot of fear, global fear, national fear, even. We might not feel afraid or operate from fear, but we tend to still be in it if it's in the community. So there is and there's a whole spectrum, but that's another presentation if we want to talk about it. Put in the request, but that's a whole other topic about how we operate when there's fear all around us. The unwrapping, as we unwrap to get to calm, we might also have to unwrap worry. Worrying for ourselves, worrying for others. We have to unwrap stress. take that out in order to reach calm. And then sometimes also anger. And while many of us would say, well, I'm not really, I don't often have anger. And sometimes we do, right? Depending on what triggers us. But even that element of frustration, that's rooted in anger, this whole sense of, ah. So if you ever get to that point, even any day, any moment, any hour where you go, it's just not going my way, or it's not what I want, I'm frustrated. That is a piece, that's a shade of anger. It's normal, it's natural, it's human. So good on you, know it, claim it, own it, and then say, all right, let's unwrap it. Let's get to calm. So here we go. I'm going to present in these next few minutes some methods, some techniques and tips to practice calm, to practice calming and being calm. I decided to come at it from a few different ways when we talk about the mind-body connection, right? Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Practicing calm, we're going to have some talk about how to calm our head, calm the mind, how to calm our heart, right? Sometimes our heart starts racing, we're stressed, we're frustrated, we're sad, it's emotional. So sometimes we have to calm the heart. Sometimes we've got that anxiety happening and that breathing, right? That shallow, fast breath. And so we have to calm the breath. We have to just calm down. And then also there are ways to calm the body when everything feels tight or sore or just uncomfortable and almost this prickliness of, calm the body. So let me talk through how we can do some of that. First of all, I made sure that I did not put scientific words here on the charts for you to see. And I also refrained from putting lots of diagrams because I love to put pictures of the brain and pictures of the nervous system, because I went to college thinking I was going to be a neuroscientist when I grew up. And so I studied biology and I took lots of extra classes in brain health. And I did research projects with my professors. And I thought I was going to be a neuroscientist when I grew up, and then the Army said they didn't need a neuroscientist. They needed a second lieutenant instead. So off I went to do my duty. But what's funny is that it was the military who sent me to resilience training, master resilience training school through the University of Pennsylvania's positive psychology program. And that's when I first became a resilience coach. And positive psychology and neuroscience or neurobiology are a lot alike. So it all came full circle 20 years later, or 25 years later. I am actually in the field that I love. And so I know, because my kids remind me, and all the scouts that I've ever led in my scout troops remind me, not everybody wants a science lesson. It's not as much fun for everybody else to learn all of those words and understand the anatomy of things. But if you have those questions, please put them in the chat box, and afterward we can talk the science side of it. But for this presentation, I'm going to keep it really in just kind of general, everyday terms. Let's talk about calming the head. So here's the thing. I have to say this. I know it's a little bit of science, but there is a major nerve that connects the brain directly to the heart, and it's called the vagus nerve. V-A-G-U-S, vagus. And so when we talk about that mind-body connection, or the somatic experience of what we feel in our body, what we take in our awareness, and how it affects our autonomic nervous system, it's true. And there's so much evidence-based research, the science behind this, then the technology that now allows us to map it, right? We can now prove it on the machines, what we're feeling in our bodies, what we're even thinking, how the neurons are moving in our brain. It's fabulous, it's fascinating. And it boils down to, we can calm ourselves. Let's calm the head. Well, there are lots of ways to do this. I only chose 3 for today. We can calm by meditating, and some of you already do that. And there are times when I have been leading meditation for some AARP Florida events. And so there are lots of options out there. You can take a look on the resources or on YouTube. So I'll just leave it here that you can meditate or even just focus, which is sometimes called mindfulness. Just focus on something. That will actually calm you down because it interrupts the brain spinning into fear or worry or anxiety or stress. So meditating or focusing, mindfulness, interrupts that and calms. So a fun technique also that we've found with research is that we can, and it's a method of focusing, I know that, but it's a fun activity, count backward or say the ABCs backward. So we can try that right now. We'll take a moment, and if you just think about it, you do it like Z, Y, X, W, B, U, T, S, R. I guess I don't know my ABCs well enough to count back. But because we have to focus so much and it puts our whole effort on that, it interrupts any other static that we have, which tends to make us stressed, right? It's the static that is the opposite of calm. Calm is that peace, that steadiness. So I shouldn't say the other, there are so many ways to calm our heads, but one way that I wanted to actually share with you, and we'll have everybody practice right now, is to massage the scalp. So it's interesting because we have muscles and skin and connective tissue on the tops of our heads, and we have sutures in our bones, our cranial bones. So I have to take my glasses off to do this or they fall off. So everybody reach up now, play along. If you're here, come on and play around. So bring your fingertips right to the top of the head and your thumbs are going to be right here by the edges of your eyes, moved over to your ears. And so just kind of move back and forth. When you were kids, do you remember there was a joke when they would somebody would come up to you and go like this, and kind of rub your head, and they'd say, "What is it?" And they'd say, "It's a brain eating monster starving." Maybe you didn't have the friends I did on the playground. But so this is what we're doing. Just push into with your fingers and thumbs and move the scalp, move the skin around, feel into those bones, and then move around to the back. So we're not scratching. It's not fingernails. It's the fingertips all the way to the back. If you can bring your thumbs back to the neck behind your head, right up to the edge of the cranium and around back behind the ears, especially if we wear masks many hours of the day now. If you're out at all running errands, you have to put that mask on. And so, it feels good behind the ears, and just massage the head, just calm things down. Now I'm going to put my glasses on and see what my curly hair looks like. I put my hands through it. So that's a technique. That's a way to calm the head. Give yourself a little bit of that's why it feels so delicious when you go to the barber or the hair salon and they shampoo your hair, they wash your hair for you. Oh, it's so good. It's calming. You can do it to yourself, even though it's not as good. It's not as delicious as somebody else doing it, but head rubs, scalp rubs, massages are really good, really healthy. Okay, let's calm the heart. So interesting, because it doesn't seem intuitive, right? It seems sort of opposite. But when we're feeling anxious, fearful, stressed out, angry, we can calm our heart by actually exercising, by getting our heart rate up, by moving the body, by sweating. That actually helps calm things, which is why runners, other athletes, rowers, not just runners, but athletes will tell you that is something they do. They exercise every day specifically to help their stress, to help calm down. So that is a way to calm your heart. Get some exercise in, even just brisk walking, as if you're in a hurry. Brisk, move it. Or if you have to stay inside, you can do the reach arms up, arms down, right? Sort of, they're called sunflowers, I think. And you can move the body, dance. We know that, we've done that a couple times, you and I. So exercise helps actually break down all of that stress. So it calms the heart. Here's another simple technique. Bringing the head lower. So if this is you sitting upright, or standing, but I'm sitting right now, so we'll stay sitting. So sitting or standing upright. If you bring your head level with your heart or lower, now only go lower if you don't have heart issues. So if you have high blood pressure that you're on medicine for, if you have heart surgery history or pacemaker, then you don't go lower than the heart, you just go equal to the heart. But let's do that right now. Most of you can, right from where you are. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, lean forward, and bring the head down. So it's as if you're resting on your lap. So rest forward, breathe here, soften, maybe dangle your arms down, even if your head can't go down. Breathe, and then slowly push yourself up. Put your hands on your lap and push yourself up. If you actually stay forward, if you stay folded over and soften, if you stay for 10 breaths, 10 breaths, 10 breaths, it makes a difference. It calms the activity, it calms the brain static, it calms that vagus nerve. Here's the other thing we can do to calm the heart. We can tap. And so that's what I want to do with you today. So take fingers, we're doing a lot of tactile work. Can you notice that today? That's my theme, hands on. Today's a hands-on practice. So with light fingertips, so it's not, again, it's not your fingernails, it's finger pads of the fingers. Just tap lightly right here, right in the sternum, the breastbone, the chest space. Tap, tap, tap. Up to the throat, down. This is the place where if you could say, and it warbles, right? Tap, 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 just lightly. Breathe and tap. And then we're going to open to the side. Tap out and tap in. And tap out and tap in. And tap and tap. And if you set a timer and do it for at least 2 minutes, preferably 3 minutes, it makes a difference. 2 to 3 minutes will calm your nervous system by tapping in your heart space. Tapping the heart will calm you. All right, what's next? Let's calm the breath. Okay, there are so many ways in meditation and mindfulness and yoga. There are so many ways to calm the breath. And so I chose 2. We're going to play with the 2 of them today. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about aromatherapy and what that is. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. We're going to do box breath. And if you've practiced with me before, or if you were part of, I don't remember which presentation I've done now with AARP, we've done that. You may have done this before. So, and so that's fine. We're going to take a breath, just settle in, be comfortable where you are. And so rest your hands on your lap. And we're going to breathe in to the count of 4. And so you're going to rest, but you'll see my hand in the air just to kind of keep where we're at. So you'll breathe in to your pace, however you fast or slow you count. Breathe up for 4. Pause and hold the breath for 4. This is the top of the box. Exhale it all out, whoosh, to the count of 4. And then pause and wait to take the breath for 4. Inhale 4. Pause 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Wait 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Pause. That is box breath. Again, set the timer for 2 or 3 minutes, and it helps calm everything that's going down. Your lungs help calm all the static that's happening in your system, in your central nervous system. The second item that you'll see here is called aromatherapy. What is aromatherapy? Aromatherapy really means things that smell good, that it is therapeutic if it smells good to you. And there are lots of things for aromatherapy. Usually it comes in oils. People think of essential oils, but it doesn't have to be something that you go buy. You've got all sorts of things that smell delicious in your cabinet or your pantry or your bathroom. So there might be hand lotion that smells really good for you. So put that on, rub your hands, and then just hold it up. So you don't want to come up right up to your face. You want to hold it here and take some big, deep breaths. Sometimes even just cinnamon So you can make, put some cinnamon stick in water, boil it, sort of your homemade cinnamon tea, and just smell it. 10 big, full, deep breaths with whatever makes you feel better. There are some odors, aromas, scents that are known to actually help calm the body, calm the brain, calm the nervous system. One of them is chamomile, and that's why it's in a tea. Another one is lavender. So a lot of times people have lavender flowers or dried lavender or lavender oil. That's used a lot of times in spas. And just breathing it in slowly, deeply, 10 breaths really helps calm you. What's interesting is there's another aroma that doesn't seem like it's calming, but it is so piercing that it's an intercept in the brain when we're sort of all over the place and we're feeling hassled or harried and stressed. An intercept is a citrus. Now, orange is one of the most popular. So just slice an orange and breathe it. Have you ever noticed that when you're out and about, you can immediately smell when somebody is peeling an orange or eating an orange? In fact, our word orange in English, our English word of orange, comes from the Arabic, and it's all about, I think, the odor, the nose, or my daughter's the Arabic speaker, but I just know some of the etiology of interesting words. But it's fabulous. Citrus is one of those sharp scents that pierces immediately into our awareness, and it can be very calming. Citrus also is uplifting. So there's a benefit to that. So while we talk about calming, there's kind of a paradox of it can also uplift you. Well, yeah, if we're, freaking out and life's feeling really yucky, then I'd like to calm down and be uplifted at the same time. That could be really good. Okay, let's practice this last breath. This is called lion's breath, and it's one of my favorites. So that's always the one when I used to teach children's yoga, they loved it. And when I was a scout leader, this is really good. So lion's breath, we're going to do 3. We're going to do 3 of these, but I'm going to demonstrate it a couple times and then you're going to join me. We'll do 3 more together. So lion's breath, we're going to take a great big breath in, and then we're going to squeeze everything, like squeeze, 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 press, squeeze nose, elbows, eyebrows, toes, squeeze, 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 and then lean forward, stick out your tongue. And we're going to be like the Maori, right? Have you ever noticed in New Zealand, they Maori and they do the whole, that's what we're doing. It's good for you. Let's do, okay, so that's the demonstration. Now let's do 3 together. Here we go. Inhale and squeeze, 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 squeeze. Get out all of that yuck. Squeeze, lean forward and get it out. 2 more. Inhale and squeeze, 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 and get it out. 1 more. Inhale and squeeze, 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 and get it out. Whew. All right, lion's breath. It'll scare people away. It scares away the yuck. It scares away the glum. It scares away the fears. So go on good lion's breath. And sometimes you only need to do it 3 times. 3 lion's breath is really powerful. If you do 5, you can. Sometimes that tends to hyperventilate us a little more. So 3 is good. Okay, let's calm the body. So here we go. We're going to do all of these. The first is, it is naturally calming to massage your hands. You can do this even with just water, with the running water, right? Or soap, water and soap, because we have to wash our hands, rub it for 20 minutes, 20 seconds anyway, the count of 20 for sanitation these days. So while you're there, rub the surface, and then maybe get the thumb in there and rub a little bit on your palm. I'm doing it dry right now. If you have lotion, you can put a little lotion on. Soap and water is perfect. But rub with your thumb, rub the meat of each palm. Do the other side. And then come in here and rub or squeeze a little bit of what we call the webbing, the space between the thumb and the finger. So squeeze it a little bit, kind of pinch in there. That's an immediate calmer. So that's some good stuff. That's on one of the meridians for energy. And then visit each finger. Just kind of visit each finger as if you're taking off a ring, starting at the base where the ring would be, and you're taking it off. And you have to kind of wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. And then each hand. Breathing. And sometimes I thank my hands for all they do, even as they begin to feel bonier and more arthritic and they're harder to do things and things are uncomfortable. Thank your hands for all they do. And then clasp your hands and do a little bit of squeezing, kind of like you're, again, you could tell I was a mom or a scout leader. Remember how you could make some odd noises by clapping it this way? So you want to kind of just pump a little bit. It's good to have it all connected, all feel good. Yay. Okay. So that's one way to calm the body. The other way, another way, is to hug yourself. Hugging anybody, hug somebody else. That's the best way. These days, and because I live alone, well, and Junie Cat doesn't always want to be hugged, so you can hug yourself. Our central nervous system doesn't know the difference. We know the difference, but our central nervous system doesn't. So hug yourself. Start up high, hug shoulders. Just hug in. Big breath, squeeze like, you got this. It's all okay. I love you. And then come down a little lower. Come down to mid arms. Squeeze like you're hugging somebody else. You know, it takes a good breath. That one of those good juicy hugs. Then bring your arms, your hands down. I'll stand up so you can see, down into your torso, kind of like you're hugging down in your belly below your ribs, and just hug in. It's okay. We'll get through this. That is so calming for your nervous system. Do it, practice it. I know it seems silly sometimes, but these are the little things that make all the difference. And then lastly, we can actually calm ourselves down by just closing our eyes for 10 seconds. So do that now if it is safe for you to do so. Just take a breath and close your eyes, and I'll count. I'll be watching the clock. And it's usually 5 breaths, 5 big breaths, which are easy to count, you know, just kind of tapping the fingertips on your leg or on your hands, as you can keep count with your one hand. Just keeping the eyes closed, just shutting out the world and focusing on the fact that you're counting 5 breaths. And it's been more than 10 seconds, so welcome back. And I'm out of time, so I have to hurry up on these last few slides. Being calm is a good habit. Practicing being calm helps us manage the frustrations of life and allows us to handle ourselves with grace and dignity. And that is my gift to you. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, these are some of the resources I used for this presentation in particular. You may email me directly with any questions or issues that you have, and with respect to this presentation, and I will certainly answer as I can.